Hello. I've been meaning to do this for a long time. Um, Nothing exciting. This is going to be a real low rent video. Yeah, I'm videotaping a screen. Um, where's that glare coming from? Oh, that's on the screen. I thought this was a glare. Mainly, I can then, point at things. So, Linux CNC has a live CD, but I've had annoying issues with it, and I just haven't had time to add my 2 cents to it. So I'm gonna show you how I make a Linux install. I use the stock Debian. I download the live Debian ISO, and then I install Linux CNC. There's a few gotchas that really kind of screw you up if you don't know that you could run into the problem. The problem with the live CD is I've had issues with the network not working. I don't know what they're using for the network controller, because on Linux you can have all kinds of different network managers and stuff like that. So, and Linux CNC has really been geared towards Debian. Debian's kind of like the OG Linux. Everything is usually based on Debian. So that's kind of why Linux CNC went to it. Linux CNC used to use Ubuntu, but Ubuntu got a little sketchy on if you could make your own media because of copyright issues with, Ubuntu. So I think they just said they don't want to deal with that, and they went with Debian, which is totally free open source. So what I download is the non-free Debian. Non-free just means that it has binary blobs, closed source drivers. It just makes the experience a lot better because most likely whatever wireless card or whatever hardware you have is going to work. You don't have to go, why doesn't my wireless network card work? Oh yeah, I need to download the firmware for it because the default Debian, which wants to be free and open source, doesn't install because it's closed source. I'm okay with that. I just want something that works. So what I do is I just did this the other day. So I just do a search for non-free caps on Debian, and this is the first link. There is the CD image debian.org. These are unofficial non-free images, including firmware packages. Now, Linux CNC uses currently Debian 10. It's Buster. So, side note, all of Debian releases are named after characters from Toy Story. So, this is Buster. I'm trying to think. Oh, so the testing version is called Sid because he was the guy who broke the toys, because in testing, or what is it called? Whatever where they're doing all the changes and testing things, that's called Sid. So that's kind of funny. Anyway, it's always Sid. Anyway, so to install Linux CNC, you want to get Debian 10, so that's going to be in the archive, because the current released version of Debian right now is 11. The problem is that I don't think, what is the latest version of Linux CNC? Let's take a look. So Linux CNC /docs is your friend. Okay, the stable version is 2.8. Alright, so 2.8 works on Debian 10. It doesn't work on Debian 11 as far as I remember. I'm not as involved with Linux CNC as I used to be. But the development version of Linux CNC does work on Debian 11, which I can't remember the name of now. Bullseye. Debian 11 is Bullseye, another character from, is that the horse, I think. Anyway, so we want Debian 11, or Debian 10. So we're going to go into the archive. We're going to look for the latest 10, which is 10.8. Look at, I already been here. and you want the live CD, 10.12.0. And I want the MD64, and I always download the hybrid ISO hybrid. I don't know if the BT hybrid would work. I've never tried it, but I know this works. So now you have a whole list of these are pretty much Windows managers. So you have Cinnamon, GNOME, KDE, LXDE, Mate, however you pronounce it, XFCE, which is, I think, the Windows manager that the live CD uses. I've used XFCE for a long time. It's good. Lately, though, I've been using Cinnamon, so that's what I'm going to download. So I'm going to download the Cinnamon non-free ISO. And that's going to take a little bit to download. So while we wait for that to download, I'd probably just speed that up. So, but yeah, so this is linuxcnc.org/docs is the is your friend. The HTML, this gives you all of the Linux CNC manual, pretty much. You know, G-code programming, G-codes, this gives you all the G-codes, how you program them. Awesome documentation. They're constantly updating that. And what else was I going to say here? Oh, so I'm going to install this on, it's an HP 8300, I think it is. So I'm going to kind of show you what I do to set up the Linux CNC environment. But first I'll show you how to burn it. This is a Windows machine. Yes, I do have Windows machines. But this is how most people would likely install, or at least get Linux, is on their Windows machine. So I'm going to use Rufus, and why don't we download that while I'm sitting here waiting. Let's go to the main page, because I think it's like right here. Rufus 3.19. And I'm going to close this. And Rufus is downloading. Alright. Easy peasy so far. So I'm probably just going to let this run, and I'll speed this up. Sound like a plan? I'll be back when it gets done downloading. Actually, I want to look something up first. So, and I don't know if it's my bad luck, but I've, ever since, I don't know, Stretch, which is what, Debian 9, I've always had problems with my wireless. I usually use USB wireless adapters not working on Debian. Even with the non-free, with all the firmware and stuff, it seems to see the network card. It sees the networks. I try to connect, it won't connect. Well, after searching a whole bunch, I found a solution for it that seems to work every time. So that's one of the... Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Bless me. Let's see if I can find it. I know where it is, but I want to see if just a Google search. Debian Wi-Fi troubleshooting. Because I just saw it on an actual Debian page. Ah, I bet you this is it. So, where was troubleshooting? Is it here? No, it isn't here. Yeah, non-free. Okay. That did not work. I thought it was in... God, I thought it was here. Let's just add that. Ah, this is it. Alright. This right here, this is one of the first things I'm going to do, because when I was running through this to make sure I had all my ducks in a row, my wireless card would see the network, it would allow me to type in the password, and then it would disconnect. Entering this entry into the networkmanager.conf fixed it. It's fixed it every time. Don't ask me why this is something you'd have to do, but we're going to do that because otherwise, and maybe I'll show you what happens when you try to do this. But yeah, it is. This was a pain in the butt. Like, I don't know, 2 years ago when I was trying to get my wireless USB adapter to work, I ended up finding like a bug, a reference to a bug within Debian or something, and yeah, this fixed it. So anyway, hey, the live CD downloaded. Okay, so I'm going to burn it on one of these things. So I'm going to plug it in, and I'm going to run Rufus. It's going to say allow it, Windows allow it to make changes. Here it is. So it sees my PNY USB drive, and I'm going to select the image, which is the Debian 10.12, and I think that's all I do. I just hit start. I say write ISO image mode recommended. I don't change anything, and it's going to tell you all data is going to be lost. Alright, so here we go. We're burning the bootable USB. There's a few other things that I add to Linux just so that the Debian install, just so that it works the way I like it. I'll go through all these. I install bash completion, so you can use the tab key to, if you start typing something, if you're close, you hit tab and it'll autocomplete. I don't know why that wouldn't be installed automatically. I also install gnome or gnome terminal, because I'm used to it, and the terminal that comes with it, you can't like copy and paste, at least not in the normal sense of normal 2022 copy and paste. So those are some of my rants about Debian. It's writing the ISO, and then we will, here I can show you my mess here. I'm gonna take you out of the stand here. So there is, it's just a HP, I think it's a 3rd gen i5. Really good latency. It's amazing latency. And there's a screen over there. And here, I think this is running, but we're gonna install it again. Hold on, let me get in here. Oh, Jesus. This is really low rent. And I think that, yeah. Alright, so that's the latency test. That's been running for 87,741 seconds, I think. I think that's seconds. But yeah, that's less than 10 microseconds of latency. So this has been running for like a day, probably. So very, very, very good latency on this machine. Just happened to stumble across these things, and they're so cheap. I mean, these were computers that were used in businesses, so you can like buy them on Newegg, like refurbished ones. And it's 3rd gen i5, so more than enough power to run Linux. So anyway, okay, so I'm gonna put this back in here, which I think I moved for now. Yeah, you'll be able to see that. So yeah, that is what we got going on today. I think I'll just fast forward this and we'll reconnect when this is burnt and we can boot it on this HP. I am also partaking. Because it's been a long day. So, oh, I'll wait until I actually boot the thing to kind of go through what I go through. Hey, it's done. Alright, so let me get resituated here. Give me a second. Alright, so now I'm going to boot this HP. I'm hitting the power button. I have the USB stuck into it. So you're going to have to figure out on your computer what keys you have to press. I really don't know what keys it is on this, but I'm actually tapping escape and delete at the same time because I know this works. And it should, this computer will come up with a boot screen here. So I'm going to go into the boot menu, and I am going to boot off the PNY USB. And so, a couple things here. You can install this from the non-graphical unit. Well, you can install this without actually booting into Debian. That's what these graphical Debian installer, and then this one is not graphical. It's like text-based. I have not had good luck with those. I mean, I have not. Lately, I've not had good luck with those, and so I've found that booting into the live CD, which is what I'm going to do, works way better. It seems to work every time. So I'm going through what I do to make this work. So I don't know why the installer that runs without actually booting Debian doesn't work, but I kind of gave up on it because the installer that you run through the live CD when you boot into Debian works way better. So there you go. So this is booting into the live CD, so you could technically do things, but again, with this system, with the USB wireless that I have, does not work. So see, it says wireless networks available. So let's watch this. So A, there's more than just this one. Alright, but let's try to connect to this one. It's going to ask me for my password, so I'm going to enter it. And you can see in the lower right hand corner there, it's got the little wireless symbol, and it's thinking, 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 and it's thinking some more, and it's thinking, and it's still thinking. And now it says connection failed, activation of network, whatever. But now if you go down here and you click on this, there are no wireless networks, and we're not connected to the network. It's infuriating. So you could actually do the fix here if you wanted to play around with it. You could, oh, should we do it? Let's just see if it works here. Where is the terminal? Terminal. There we go. So this is a terminal that I don't like. Alright, so we need to sudo nano. So nano is sudo is like administrator rights. Nano is a text editor. And we need to do etc. What is it? Network conf. This is kind of like a side quest, because really, to install Debian, you can see there's an icon up here. It says install Debian. We could just install Debian, but we're just going to see if this works. So, because we're not on the internet, I can't just copy and paste this, so I have to type it by hand. Device, and it is Wi-Fi. Whoops. Wi-Fi. I'm surprising I get this right at all. Scan -ran -mac -address equals no. So did I? Oops. Jesus. Did I get that right? Scan rand mac address equals no. Hit Alt X. This will save it. Alt key and X, and you say, do you want to save it? Yes, I do. It's going to ask you write the file name. You just hit enter. All right. So how do I restart this? So sudo. I normally just reboot. But if we reboot, we lose this because this is a live CD. Sudo service network. Yeah, that is. See, tab completion isn't working. Network manager restart. Think this will work? Holy shit, that worked. Alright, so now let's see. Hey, we have this. Is that going to connect this time? It's not going to connect. This was one of those frustrating things. Yeah, so this side quest failed. Yeah, I would have connected by now if it was going to work. Alright, so we're just going to install Debian. Forget everything I just did here. It didn't work. Alright, so this is the installer. I'm just going to hit, for me it's American English. I'm going to pick Chicago because I'm in the Midwest. Chicago. Next. I'm not going to change the keyboard. Alright, so here's the drive I'm going to install it on, because I'm not going to install it on the USB drive. So because this already has an OS in it, you could do an install alongside, replace partition. I normally, because this is just going to be running LinuxCnc, I erase the whole disk. Next, my name, and I'm going to make the password LinuxCnc. Hey, I typed it right. And I'm going to log in automatically without asking for password, because I roll that way. Now this is telling you what it's going to do. It's going to erase the disk. I'm going to install. And this doesn't take too long. And I swear that works. I swear. I swear. Alright. So we're going to wait for that to install. I'm going to pause this for a second. I'll just let it run. I'll speed it up. So I'm going to do some stuff over here. I'll be back in a bit. Hey, we're all done. So I'm going to hit done. It's going to reboot, and I'm going to pull the USB stick out. Hopefully that wasn't too soon. Hey, so this is the normal boot screen. So this should log right in. And so the very first thing I'm going to do... Oh, it doesn't. Huh, I thought I told it to. Oh, gotta love it. Alright. So the first thing I'm going to do, because the Wi-Fi isn't working, is do that fix. So then I'll be able to search things here. So I need to bring up a terminal, which here is administrative. Oh, there's external. Well, I've been using this one also. Hello. Why didn't that bring up? That's interesting. Huh, that one works. Oh, that's fun. Anyway, so I'm going to fix the Wi-Fi. So remember, we have to do sudo nano etc network manager conf. This is going to tell you you're using sudo, use it with respect, whatever. And it asks you for your password. Alright, so if you remember, we have to do device, and then wifi dot scan. Hold on, let me bring up the screen so I don't have to guess on my other computer here. Wi-Fi scan dash ran dash, maybe I typed it in wrong last time. We can always look back. Address equals no. Oops, no. Alright, Wi-Fi dot scan dash ran dash mac dash address equals no. Alright, so we're gonna Control X, yes, Y, yes, I want to save it, and then you hit enter. I use this so much. You could use, I'll just use terminal. It's just easier. Alright, so I can just reboot now, and our Wi-Fi should work. Let's hope. Think it will? Anyone? 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 It boots pretty quick. This is running on like a 120 gigabyte SSD, like another like PNY or something. I don't remember. Alright, linuxcnc. And do you think it'll work? Let's see, we're gonna go down here. Yeah, and see how now there's more? Pretty weird, huh? Look at that, it remembered my password. And it's connected. What the F, right? Alright, so I'm gonna open this crappy terminal. I wonder what the differences are. I've never used those before. Anyway, first, let's update everything. Apt get update. And ask you for the password. This is just updating Debian to its latest packages. And then we do an upgrade. Yes, we're going to install all that crap. This is like a Windows update, kind of. Except it probably won't bork anything. The other thing is, with these HPs, just I'm not shilling for these HPs, but the motherboard has a printer port header on it. So if you buy the HP printer port, this is missing the metal bracket. I don't know why I took it off there, but you'll have a printer port. Kind of cool. So we're 60%. So what have we done so far? We've installed, or we've fixed the Wi-Fi. We've installed Debian. We fixed the Wi-Fi. Now we're updating. And this doesn't take very long either. Plus, the network adapter that's in this works really well with Mesista, like the Mesa Ethernet cards. This is a, what is this? 7992. That's an awesome card for like 89 bucks. Now it downloaded. Now it's installing all the packages. It's usually hurry up and wait. So next we're gonna install bash completion and GNOME terminal, and then we'll install linuxcnc. So sudo apt, and I'll put all these down in the description if I remember, get install bash complete. My spelling really sucks. Okay, so let me show you. So I want to install bash completion. If I started typing BAS, if I hit tab, it should start, at least tell me it's going to show me 128 options, or it'll start auto-completing what I'm trying to spell. So you see it's not working, and I'll show you. Bash completion. So now it's installing bash completion, and I think I'm gonna have to get out of this terminal and get into one to show you. So now if I do sudo apt get install bash, yes, see, it's going to show me 128 things. No, I don't want to. I'll type a little more. So there, now when I hit tab, it shows me that there's bash completion, there's bash static. I don't know what half these are, but we installed bash completion, so it does this. So next I want to install gnome -term. So if I hit, hey, I hit tab and it finished it for me. Yes, I want to install. Alright, so now we have GNOME terminal. And so where would that be, do you think? Is that this now? Yeah, because now it's just terminal. So I'm going to add this to the panel. Hey, oh, I thought it did it automatically, and it did. So here it is. I love this one better, although I'm going to switch it to colors. I'm not going to use, I like it black background because I'm old school. Alright, so now that we have internet and we have bash completion and all that good stuff and GNOME terminal, I'm going to open up Firefox. And do you remember linuxcnc, oops, spell it right, cnc.org/docs. And we're going to go into the 2.8 because that's what we want to install, the stable version, and getting started with linuxcnc, getting linuxcnc. So alternative, because you can, download the live CD or whatever. I'm gonna do the alternate install method, which works for Buster. And let me just get down to where I need to be. Installing on Debian Buster with our preempt RT kernel. That's exactly what we want. Oh, I forgot to do that. I forgot to do a dist upgrade. So we're going to do sudo apt get install, dist, and I can tab complete. Password, yes. And this is like a newer kernel. So what I'm going to do is just follow these instructions to install linuxcnc. It's really not that hard. And okay, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna see, now we can copy and paste to copy, paste. So this is installing the real-time kernel that linuxcnc needs, because it needs a real-time OS. Yes, I want to install it. So you see I'm just following directions. I'll tweak it just a little bit here because I also like to install the headers. Just because I've had issues with other things building if Debian doesn't have the headers for other stuff I do. So you don't have to do this. You can just follow these directions. Yada, yada, yada. Alright, this should be almost done. Alright, sudo app get install linux -head, and we just want AMD64. Yes. So now if you upgrade, when you do a update to the operating system, it'll also get the headers for it. At least that's what it should do. Alright, so we're going to reboot. I'm going to do it the short way. And now we should have a real-time kernel. And we'll check it. Because there's actually, they want you to check it when you are doing the directions to install linuxcnc. So the really cool thing about Debian and, well, Linux in general now is that the real-time kernel is now part of the repositories. You can just get it. When I first started playing with linuxcnc, which was EMC at the time, you had to jump through hoops to get a real-time kernel working. And that's why originally linuxcnc or EMC or EMC2 had live CDs or BDI installs, brain dead installs, is because getting a real-time kernel working was Herculean. Now you can just apt-get install. Or you could use there's graphical package managers. I'm just old school. Just the way I am. Alright, so let's open up Internet again. You see, this is pretty easy. I really kind of like. I'm running Cinnamon on my laptop, which I use every day, almost all day, and I like it. What was I doing? Internet, and we are going to. Oh, it opened right back to where I was. So if we open terminal and we do, this is the next thing here, step 5, uname-v, it is running an RT real-time RT preempt kernel. Yay! Alright, so here's another thing. So now we need the signing keys. This is kind of like security to say that, hey, linuxcnc is okay to install. This key server has never worked for me. This keys.openpgp.org has never worked for me. So if we do this, I'm going to copy, because I don't want to have to type that whole thing. And I'm going to paste it. And then I'm going to change this key server to home keys, keyserver.ubuntu.com, and we gotta put in the password. And there you go. It says it processed 1, imported 1. So that should work. And now the number 8 here, this installs, or this is so Debian knows where to look for linuxcnc. This is kind of like, if somebody says install linuxcnc, where do I look for it? So I think this should work. Here, we'll give it a try. Oops. Copy. Paste. Okay, so that should have worked. And oops, don't forget this down here. Copy. and paste. Alright, so that added the repositories into the Debian source file. Okay, so now we're down to step 9 here. We're going to sudo apt get update. So if everything works right, we shouldn't get any errors. Yeah, and you see now it's searching for through the Linuxcnc buster repositories. So now we can say sudo apt get get install Linuxcnc and C, oh my god, -u, and I can complete that. Cool, huh? And I'm gonna hit enter, and it's gonna install a shit ton of stuff. But it doesn't take very long. So now we're installing Linuxcnc. Wasn't too painful, right? It's mostly just following directions. Although I get in trouble following directions a lot. So we're at 60%. So this is downloading. Then it'll install all these packages. These are, wow, it's installing OpenCV. Wow. Interesting. OpenCV is like it can like do video. You can look for things in a video, or words. I can't think of the words. Anyway, it's cool. I've used it before. Like shape recognition and stuff like that. So it's now installing all the stuff it needs to get Linuxcnc working. So if we look in the menu, we now have a CNC directory. And you could run the latency test, you could run Linuxcnc. That's kind of cool, huh? So I usually run things from the command line. And I think in development they have the latency histogram running like it's a menu item now, but it isn't. So in this version, latency tab, histogram. And so this is the latency test. This is what you'd run to see how your system performs. Now there's a couple things that I do in GRUB, which is like the boot manager-y thing, on most every system that I set up. It helps with latency. Like, let's see if I can do something here. Oh, I have it open. You remember do you remember the latency that had been running all day, or like for a day, was under 10 microseconds, and we're already up to 12? There's a few things you can tweak in real time, in the real-time kernel, to make it perform just slightly better. So you can see here, this is already up to 12.5. So I'm going to do one more thing here, and then I'm going to reboot. We're going to get out of latency test. So with real time, you can, with this version of real time, and also works with RTAI, is you can isolate a processor for real time. And that means, like, this machine is 4 cores. I'm going to isolate one of the cores for real time. It helps with latency, usually. It really depends on on how the like cache is set up. But for this machine, if I isolate a core or two cores, it actually performs slightly better in real time. For some machines, it performs way better when you do something like that. With this machine, it's pretty good to begin with, but isolating the one of the cores makes it just slightly better. So I'm going to just do that quick here so you can see. So I need to edit a config file, which is in etc default grub. Oh, that isn't right because I didn't do nano. So then it was going through directories. Oops. GRUB. Alright, so in this line right here, it doesn't matter. I usually put it right here where I say ISO CPU equals 3. So I'm saying isolate the fourth core because these are 0 base. So 0, 1, 2, 3 are the cores on this processor. So I'm going to isolate the last core. I don't know if it's as critical which core you do. In the olden days, you always wanted to do the last core or the highest core. So that's what I still do. But somebody could experiment, I guess. And then I also do idle equals poll, which seems to help also for some machines. And then I'll do this again, Alt X. Yes, I want to save it. Yes, that's the file I want to save it to. And now we need to update grub. So sudo update -grub, and it'll go through and update grub. So let's reboot. I don't remember what I did last time. I might have actually isolated core 2 and 3, but we'll run the latency test. Anytime you change grub, it needs a reboot. And we're almost booted. Now if we, Control-Alt-T will also open the GNOME terminal, which is freaking awesome. I've gotten that was like the first time it was like Ubuntu, I think. That was the first time that key combination was used to open a terminal. Oh my god, I'm so used to it now that I kind of get upset when it isn't set up. So, yeah. So what was I doing? Oh, latency histogram. And actually the latency histogram, well, look at that. It's saying no core, no ISO CPUs. Did I do that wrong? Well, let's, oops. Sudo nano etc default. This is the making of the sausage, right? Oh, I spelled it wrong. Let's do that. ISO CPUs with an S. Alt X. Yes. Enter. And then you can tab or you can up arrow to all the commands you've run before. I use that all the time because I don't want to have to type sudo update grub. It's called bash history. And we'll reboot. And then I'll show you that in the latency histogram it shows the that one core is isolated. Sorry, got sidetracked there. CNC. Keep trying to pass in my, or type in my normal password. Alright, so let's bring up a terminal and we can just up arrow latency histogram. And now it shows that ISO CPU is set to 3. And you drag stuff around, and well, it used to be you'd run GLX gears, but we don't really, I don't do that as much anymore. Maybe I might go play a YouTube video just to see if there's something going on there. But you see, notice how it's, staying low. And I don't know what this is going to do playing YouTube video. And I'll play one of mine so we don't get copyright. Yeah. So, and they put ads in there and I'm not making any money. Oh my god! Alright. So, see? Still less than 10 microseconds of latency, and we're running a freaking YouTube video. It's still amazing. I mean, it still amazes me. So, okay. So we're going to get out of this. We're going to get out of this. We're going to run a sample config. We're going to run linuxcnc. Now it's going to ask you, this is the sample configs, so these should just run. I hit OK. It's ask you if you want to copy it into your directory, into your home directory. Yes, you do. Okay. And we have linuxcnc running. I can home it, and I can run it. So there you go. That wasn't super hard. And pretty much everything works. I guess let me know if you have any questions, and talk to you guys later.